Welcome gamers to my review of Kong Survivor Instinct, which is the latest entry in the ever-growing Monsterverse. And as the first official game set after the events of Godzilla vs. Kong, Survivor Instinct brings us a unique opportunity to dive into the chaos of a Titan-infested world. Developed by 7 Levels, known for smaller, quirky indie titles like Railbound and Invento, this game represents their most ambitious project to date, but the high expectations come with the risk of falling short. So let's break down what works and what doesn't. Kong Survivor Instinct takes a somewhat unexpected approach in the Monsterverse. Instead of focusing on the Titan battles of Kong or Godzilla, you play as David, a blue-collar oil rig worker who, amidst a city-shattering rampage by Kong, sets out to rescue his daughter. The plot of the game kicks off with David rushing into the chaos to find Stacy after hearing about Kong's attack. And as David, you must navigate the destroyed streets of an unnamed city, all while avoiding not only the massive destruction caused by the Titans, but also the rogue mercenary group known as the Hyenas, whom are led by Alan Jonah, a familiar face for the Monsterverse fans. And while the story sets itself up for grand and emotional stakes, it unfortunately often trips over its execution. The deeper themes of survival and disaster that the game hints at are never quite materialized into anything profound, leaving the narrative feeling thin. David, unfortunately, doesn't add much emotional weight to the story. His motivations are understandable, but they never evolve beyond the basic of a desperate father searching for his child. The flat, often awkward dialogue doesn't help, and the voice acting, which peers into the stilted territory, fails to bring the character to life in a meaningful way. In short, while the plot's concept holds potential, it falters in delivery. And when it comes to the heart of the game, the gameplay, well, Kong Survivor Instinct is a 2.5D action-adventure platformer with light Metroidvania elements. And as David, you must make your way through a crumbling city, dodging environmental hazards, solving puzzles, and fighting off mercenaries. And early in the game, you acquire a unique device capable of summoning Kong and other Titans to help you navigate certain obstacles. On paper, this sounds thrilling, but in execution, it's less dynamic. This device simply scans signals scattered across the environment and allows you to call on a Titan once you've gathered enough signals. There's little strategy and creativity involved, just another collectible hunt mechanic that fails to make you feel like you're actively controlling these powerful creatures. And this game offers a mixture of light puzzle solving and environmental exploration. You'll often find yourself moving objects like cabinets to create ledges, unlocking doors with keys, or even repairing electrical devices using collected scraps. These elements are simple but functional, and add enough variety to keep things from becoming monotonous. And this game does feature some Metroidvania-like progression, where new tools unlock previously inaccessible areas. And while acquiring many of these tools like the hammer and the grappling tool expand traversal options, these mechanics don't quite elevate the game into a true Metroidvania territory. And the linearity of the level design means backtracking isn't as satisfying as it should be, as most of the items you already collected on your first pass through the area. And unfortunately, combat is one of the weakest aspects of this game. Throughout your journey, you'll face off against the Hyenas, and their goal is to harness the power of the Titans for their own purposes. The combat mechanics in the game are straightforward and offer a mix of melee attacks, dodges, parries, and grabs. You can strike enemies with various weapons, block incoming attacks, and even throw enemies into environmental hazards. And there are also firearms available, and they serve more like a rare resource rather than a regular combat tool. And while the idea of mixing hand-to-hand combat with environmental interactions sounds engaging, the execution unfortunately leaves much to be desired, as the combat feels clunky and repetitive, with unresponsive controls and awkward animations that detract from the experience. The parry system, while a useful tool, becomes easy to exploit, turning encounters into button mashing affairs rather than skill-based challenges. And enemies, especially later in the game, are more of an annoyance than a genuine threat, which makes these combat sequences feel more like roadblocks than exciting moments. But one area where this game truly shines is in its Titan encounters. While David is no match for Kong or other massive creatures, the game smartly weaves these titanic beings into a fabric of gameplay. At key moments, you'll be forced to escape Kong or other Titans as they tear through the buildings and reduce the city to rubble. For me, these chase sequences are thrilling, with levels collapsing around you, forcing you to quickly react and navigate the destruction. But it is worth noting that these sequences are few and far between. And visually, the game is a mixed bag. The 2.5D aesthetics work well, with the ruined cityscapes offering a bleak of atmospheric backdrop. Its environmental design is solid, with a clear attention to detail in the way the city has been rampaged by Kong's rampage. However, the character models and animations are less impressive, and they often feel stiff and lifeless, especially during cutscenes. The sound design, much like the voice acting, is serviceable, but not memorable. The soundtrack fades into the background, offering little in the way of atmosphere, while sound effects during combat and exploration lack the punch needed to make the action feel impactful. In my opinion, Kong Survivor Instinct is a game that at its core suffers from the lack of ambition and polish. While the idea of exploration in cities destroyed by Titans is intriguing, the game fails to fully capitalize on its Monsterverse setting. Its combat is clunky, the narrative lacks emotional weight, and the exploration, though decent, is hampered by the linear design and underwhelming Metroidvania elements. And there are bright spots in the game, particularly in the Titan chase sequences, but unfortunately, at the end of the day, for me this game's a 6.1 out of 10, and it's a game I cannot recommend to you. If you've played the game, did you like it? Would you recommend it? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching till the end. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a great day.